This philosopher had the craziest idea ever. His name is David Lewis, and he is probably one of the biggest geniuses of the 20th century. He truly changed modern philosophy. I would consider myself well read when it comes to philosophy, but I think I heard the name David Lewis for the first time about a year ago, which is really weird because his contribution to philosophy is immense. For I truly believe that he is one of the most important philosophers in modern times. Whenever I want to figure out if someone or something is truly great, I ask myself the question, will people still discuss this in 100 years' time? And when it comes to David Lewis, I am convinced that that is the case. In the future, people will probably talk about him the same way we talk about Immanuel Kant, David Hume, or Leibniz. But I've been wondering, why don't people know about this guy? Probably the reason why people haven't heard about him, even though he was an excellent writer, is that it's still analytic philosophy. And sometimes analytic philosophy is really hard to understand without a formal education. But that is why I am going to make a couple of episodes on David Lewis. And I'm really going to try to make these episodes understandable without a degree in philosophy. I simply want to share the deep knowledge of David Lewis and make his philosophy more legible for the general public. So if that sounds at all interesting, make sure to subscribe. So to begin with, why is David Lewis such a great philosopher? Well, what makes any philosopher great, in my opinion, is when you have a fully philosophical, coherent system, with the ontology in the bottom and everything logically flows from it, explaining all the phenomena that we want to explain. This, I would say, David Lewis succeeded in doing. Here's a list of a few of his theories, all of which I would say is very influential. The most revolutionary idea that he provided is that of modal realism, in which he described in this book, On the Plurality of Worlds. And this idea is central to his philosophy. According to Lewis, every possible world exists as real entities. Here he writes, "There are ever so many ways that a world might be, and one of these many ways is that the way that this world is. Are there other worlds that are other ways? I say there are. I advocate a thesis of plurality of worlds, or modal realism, which holds that our world is but one world among many." So the thing here is that we have an infinite amount of possible worlds. There is a world where I am 1 inch taller, and there's also a world where I am more handsome. And there's even a world where I am a hobbit trying to destroy the One Ring. An infinite amount of possible worlds. Yeah, this is mad, right? Why would we ever want to include possible worlds within our ontology? It certainly is an ontological explosion. But here's the thing. If we include possible worlds within our ontology, we will be able to solve a great many deal of philosophical problems. And from what I've heard, there are some physicists that insist upon the existence of parallel worlds. Although I believe that is not the same thing, but it's definitely similar, right? So maybe this is not that bonkers of an idea. What do you think? We will delve more deeply into this concept of possible worlds and why it actually makes sense to include them within our ontology. But before that, I will make an episode regarding natural properties, since I recently read an article by David Lewis on that very topic, and a viewer asked for it. So that's what's coming up. But for the time being, if you want to know more about David Lewis, make sure to check out this episode where I discuss his view on the laws of nature.